With those introductory words said, I now have the great pleasure of presenting to you Grant Schmidt, who was chosen by his classmates as their permanent class president. Grant served the law school as editor-in-chief of the Review of Litigation, and he has served the community at large as a participant in our criminal defense clinic. He will soon begin a clerkship with the Honorable Sam Lindsay of the Northern District of Texas, and then will join Fish and Richardson in Dallas. Please join me in welcoming Grant Schmidt.
Thank you, Dean Farnsworth, Chancellor Cigarella, Senator Ellis, UT faculty, staff, family, friends, and most importantly, the class of 2013. I want to start by saying that this is truly an honor, and because it's such an honor and given the importance of this type of platform, truly, I'd like to take this opportunity to tackle some important issues. I will first briefly outline, very briefly, the contours of the law as it relates to gun rights and the Second Amendment. I will then, given the current climate, talk briefly about immigration policy. I will quickly touch on same-sex marriage benefits. And finally, I will discuss the federal funding to Planned Parenthood. No, I'm just kidding. I obviously had to break the ice somehow today, so everyone take a deep breath and let's get the awkwardness out of this. What's awesome, though, is that several of you, because only a few people started laughing, thought I was dead serious. Several of my classmates started shifting. And several of you are thinking, here we go, another little hotshot attorney in his little seersucker suit. Thinks he's got all the answers. I knew I should have discouraged my graduate from going to law school. First, I was, of course, kidding. But second, by the time of my time standing up here, and trust me, I know that brevity is key, I hope you will know why attending UT Law was an incredible decision for all of us. I want to begin by describing at least part of our journey. During our orientation as 1Ls, we were told that after our first year of law school, and certainly after our 3 years, our brains would be completely transformed. We would never think the same again. And I remember thinking, yeah, right. I've already had 17 plus years of schooling. We all dominated in preschool. And yes, you can dominate in preschool. We dominated grade school, high school, college. How much more damage could 3 years do? And boy, was I wrong. Our brains are ruined forever. We truly do think like lawyers. And I'm not quite sure that's always necessarily a good thing. For example, just looking out at you this afternoon, I can think of and thought of many different concerns. Some of those seats, obviously, are temporary. What if they collapse? What if we have a negligence suit? Should we go after the manufacturer? Is the supervisor vicariously liable? Or is the person you sitting, slouching, contributory negligent? Or what kind of contract did the law school use to sign out this facility? There must have been some other serious gigs. We had to bid out. Scooby-Doo the musical is in here tomorrow night. Taylor Swift is in here Tuesday night. And Paul McCartney will be standing right here on Wednesday night. So did we have an opt-out clause? What if we double booked? What if the power went out? Talk about compensatory damage, maybe even some punitive damage if the test is met? You see what I'm saying? In a way, we're brainwashed. But on a more serious note, what are we doing? Why did we just spend 3 years going through the ringer of law school? Why did we spend countless hours studying? Why, during exams, did we see happy people and just intensely dislike them? Why did we incur debt? And why did we take on some potential uncertainties about our future? We did it because, as Dean Farnsworth said, we wanted to see what holds together our community, our state, our country, and yes, even the world. How are people held accountable? What prevents utter chaos? How do we help people succeed? And you know, a lot of people say, people just go to law school and they don't know what they want to do. It's just a safety net. And that's simply not true. And even if some of my classmates are saying, maybe why I entered law school at first, I don't believe it. Trust me, you don't just go to law school for the sake of going to law school. You don't chug coffee for the sake of chugging coffee. You don't break all ties with the people you love just for the sake of breaking all ties with people you love. Whether it's acknowledged or not, there's something internal, something that every single one of my classmates has. Sure, we're looking for a job, and yes, we want to earn money. But there's something more. There's an interest in order, in justice, in the human person. There's a desire for change, for adjustment, for stability. So, why is it that people think that law school is such a catch-all? Because it is. The law is one of the few areas that captures every single industry, every single responsibility, every single opportunity, and every single person. And that is what makes it awesome. And why is it that people say there are so many attorneys? As a brief side note, do you, my classmates, remember when there was the man in the pig costume dancing on DK with the giant sign that said, "Lawyers are pigs"? Talk about some serious motivation as we're heading to law school. Work real hard. But why is it that people say there are so many attorneys? Because there are. We are needed to protect the environment, our nation's security, our patented ideas, to protect children, the poor, the needy, to advocate for a business's interests, and to defend the wrongfully accused. We are needed. Now, I think it's safe to say that I've been drinking the proverbial lawyer Kool-Aid. But that doesn't mean that I think we are the superior occupation. My dad's an engineer, my mom's in advertising, my sister's a nurse. My cousins are social media experts, business owners, hair designers. My friends are teachers, investment bankers, and consultants, and without them, our society would be in utter chaos. So why do I think that being a lawyer is so important, so different? It's because many of these other professionals turn to us for leadership, to be their advocate, to be their objective advisor, and even sometimes a fortune teller. Additionally, many of us will go to do things outside of the law. And that's the beauty of law school. The skills that we've developed can be used in all types of fields, positions, and areas of study. We will be hired for our judgment, not for 50-page memos, not for a giant team of lawyers, but for our judgment. So very, very briefly, how has the University of Texas specifically facilitated this judgment? Well, first of all, these genius men and women behind me. These professors are truly rock stars. Yes, rock stars. Every single one of them is on the cutting edge of their specialized area of study. They're not just going through a casebook with us. Heck, most of them wrote the casebook. And hence, that's why we are required to buy the new edition for $450 with that one word change every single year. But truly, our professors are not in some ivory tower. They're here on the ground, trying out new problems, posing current fact patterns. As one of my friends said, we often take for granted the people who make us think, the people who make our brains squirm in a very, very good way, professors. So how else has UT facilitated this judgment and collaboration? Through groups like the societies, journals, Assault and Flattery, the advocacy program, the clinical programs. Tell you what, these clinical programs, they're intense. Talk about an experience that will force you into using your judgment. I was in the criminal defense clinic this past year, and without going into any privileged information, I represented a young girl who was charged with a DWI. I worked with her every single day for weeks. We were finally prepared to take a particular course of action, and I called her house phone because I couldn't get it on her cell. Her stepfather, a man I had not spoken with before, answered with my client, I'll call her Sarah, standing in the background. Hello? Hi, sir, this is Grant Schmidt. Okay. Is Sarah there? Who the heck is this? Oh, no, sir, I'm Grant Schmidt. I'm just her student attorney. Oh, great. I've actually been waiting to talk to you. Do you realize that you're not even a real attorney? Yes, sir, this is a student clinic. You haven't even passed the bar. That's correct, sir. I'll take it in July. In fact, you may never even pass the bar. I guess it's possible, yes, sir. And since I was for some reason under attack by my own client's family, I had to remind him, sir, I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but you realize I'm on your team. I'm representing your stepdaughter. And he continued to pummel me with insults. And I've always wanted to say to some of these more difficult clients, I don't think you understand. We are paying money so that we can go to school so that I can then represent you for free. And sometimes they don't always see that. But there have also been times when the client has looked me and my classmates square in the eye, and they've said, thank you. Thank you so much. In those types of simple moments, a client's simple gratitude in whatever you do, those are the moments that will continue to motivate us. And the last way that UT has facilitated this judgment is through the student body itself. Top law schools are often known for being over-the-top competitive, people ripping pages from casebooks, intense gunners or podium trolls, as we call them, which I was kind of guilty of. But here, at the 15th best law school in the country, or, according to the highly accurate Grant Schmidt poll, the #1 law school in the country. We don't have that, and I'm dead serious. Our class and our student body is a team. Of course, there is this evil thing called the curve. And so technically, if you're helping one person, you may be kind of hurting yourself. But we don't think about it like that. The thought is, if I explain a concept to her, she'll explain a concept to me. If I ask her one of my questions, she'll ask me one of hers. That is how we learn, and that is how we develop judgment. So, with that, class of 2013, I charge us with the responsibility of being ministers of the law. The law can be a scary thing for a lot of people. Heck, even I know there will be times I want to curl into a ball, I'm going to turn on some Michael Bublé, and I'm going to call my mom. But for those who are unfamiliar with the law, we are their advisor, their advocate, their deal maker. Remember that we know a ton, but there's also a ton that we don't know. No one in this world knows it all. And so what separates a good lawyer from an excellent lawyer is the ability to use the judgment that we develop not only over these 3 years, but throughout our lifetime. This judgment can be used whether we practice law or not. It can be used when we advocate, when we advise, when we teach, and when we serve. We should be pumped to get up each morning and serve with the skills we've worked so hard to attain. And while we all felt a tad bit awkward when I mentioned some of those hot button issues earlier, I can guarantee you that this class, the class of 2013, we will fight for the causes that we are passionate about. We will be respectful advocates, tackling all issues, big or small. We will be asking the hard questions. These issues are solved through the adversarial process when smart people like my classmates come together and challenge each other with judgment, their goodwill, and their passion. Thank you so much to my class for giving me this opportunity, to our friends and family for their tremendous support, and to the amazing University of Texas. Hook 'em horns, thank you very much.